What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Dr. Ricky McCray here. Again, listen, I'm so grateful for you and how you've been listening and how you've been watching these videos. And I pray that you are being blessed as we talk more about my book that's coming out, Some Things Are Worth Fighting For. Yesterday, we talked about part one, admitting that you're hurt. And that admission was really for yourself, right? Admitting to yourself that you are hurt. And today, part two of where do you start? Today, we're going to be talking about admitting that there was a cover up. Admitting that you've been covering something up. Woo! Let's talk about this thing today. So this morning I got up, I'm up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm doing my prayer and all of that. And I was reminded of when I was a sophomore in high school. I had this boil on the inside of my thigh. And at first, it was something small, it was an ingrown hair, and I'm like, okay, maybe it'll go away. Maybe I can avoid it and it'll go away, right? But a few days later, that thing started hurting more, and not just the area where there was the ingrown hair, but now the area around it had started to hurt. And a matter of fact, it was amazing that the clothes that was real close to me, I had to move it. It was uncomfortable. I couldn't let even the things that were closest to me get too close. Matter of fact, it began to change my walk. After a few days, I was walking different. After a few days, listen, it seemed like everybody kept bumping into my leg. I began to get angry. As a matter of fact, and it changed my behavior. A few days went by, and because it was so sensitive, I would talk to people with one leg up and one leg back. It was almost as if I had one leg in and one leg out, 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Matter of fact, it got so bad that I began to start having some coping mechanisms. I started taking Tylenol, and I was taking ibuprofen, popping it like it was candy to try to cover the pain, but it was only a temporary relief to the pain, and that there was nothing that was going to relieve the pain until I finally reached out to my mama, and I said, "Mama, my leg is hurting." And she took a look at it and said, "Boy, we got to get you to the hospital." I want to tell you this story because so often when we've been hurt and traumatized and people have done things to us, maybe it starts out small, like that ingrown hair, and we think we can avoid it. Maybe we think we can walk away from it and it'll get better on its own. But maybe you fooled yourself like I did, and all of a sudden the thing, it starts affecting the stuff and the people that are closest to you. And even the people who are closest to you don't feel like they can get close to you. Come on, somebody knows what I'm talking about. Maybe that thing, that unforgiveness, that pain has caused you to change your walk, change your behavior because people keep hitting all the triggers that you got. Come on, somebody. And you getting angry because that is a way for you to be able to cover up. Woo! That you feel vulnerable, that you feel weak, that you felt powerless, that you felt helpless. And so you get angry with everybody else so you never get put back into that situation. Maybe you were like me and you had 1 foot in and 1 foot out of all those relationships that you are in. Some of you right now, you're in a relationship, and because of that traumatic pain from your past and somebody else did something to you, you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Because you just not sure if this thing is going to work out. You're not sure if they're going to hurt you. You're not sure if they're going to disappoint you. You're not sure if they're going to do something like the last person. So it's easier for you to be able to leave when they mess up if you only got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It's easier to leave and break camp and run out and get ghost on them when it is that you're not all the way invested. And maybe you were like me, some of you been coping. with the pain of the trauma of what that person did to you. And maybe it's pills, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's drug, maybe it's smoking some stuff, maybe it's another person, maybe it's sex, maybe there's some food addiction, and maybe there's some other stuff you're trying to do, maybe it's work. You're finding ways to cover it up so you don't have to deal with it. Can I encourage you today that if you want to experience the true power of forgiveness and reconciliation, you have to admit that you've been covering some stuff up. Whew. And you got to tell somebody about it. You got to tell some people that can do something about it. You got to tell God about it. Man, and that's why it's important. I told you, I shared with you, I had to get with my mom, and she took me to the hospital where they had to cut some stuff out, and it hurt because they couldn't numb it right because it had been so long. Woo! And so I had to deal with the pain of them cutting me. But the release that came after the cutting, my God, oh, it was so amazing that it was in the end worth the cut. Woo! Who am I talking to today? But I want to tell you that I know that you don't want to deal with this pain and you'd rather try to avoid it. But the truth of the matter is it's affected you too long. It's infected and you're going to have to deal with it. And yes, the cut may be painful. And yes, bringing it back up may be painful. But I promise you in the end, whatever that pain or that cut is, I promise you it'll be worth it when the healing comes. So I encourage you, listen. If you are saying, I need this in my life, I want you to go to my website, drrickymccrae.com. Go pre-order the book. Some things are worth fighting for. I promise you, if there's a relationship, there's some stuff that you've been through, you know, there's a person that God won't let you walk away from. Perhaps the reason is because there are some things worth fighting for. God bless you.